Hello and welcome back to the TradeNeon software channel. If you don't know me yet, my name is Simon Reichert. I'm part of the TradeNeon Academy team. And in this video, I want to analyze together with you the 6S future in our futures analysis platform, Futures Insights. The 6S future is the future traded on Swiss francs at the CME exchange. And in just a second, we'll have a look whether this market is currently fundamentally interesting or not. And as always, before we head into analyzing, quickly our disclaimer that trading in derivatives or securities in general involves significant risk, and that this video shall not serve as investment advice and or intermediation as according to the KWG. And as always, we want to start off with the dry powder indicators for our leveraged funds, which are our large speculative traders for the financial markets. And this time around, at least from first glance, we don't really have a current positioning. So the long open interest and the short open interest, that is interesting for us right now, because we can still see that the current positionings are in normal territory, because we obviously want to see the current positioning in extreme territory, because in that case we could simply get the information that the leveraged funds are either from the long side or from the short side extremely strong engaged and don't have that much more dry powder for an ongoing short or long trend. So this is not that interesting for us, but luckily we don't have to solely rely on our eyes in order to get informational value from this, because we also have the OBOS indicator, which relates the current positioning to other variables, including the total open interest, the involved market participants, as well as the current price in comparison to the look-back period, which in this case is 1 year. And luckily in this case we get a long signal from the last COT report with 88% intensity, which is quite interesting for us for a potential long trade. And as always, simply because we get a signal from our charts, we don't want to immediately hop into a long trend, because this is only our fundamental bias, which tells us from the medium to long term where prices are most likely to go, but not in the short term. So we always want to synchronize basically the fundamental bias that we get with a chart signal, which basically gives us the confirmation that we now want to enter a trade. So the chart setup or the chart entry is mostly about timing, and the fundamental data is mostly our directional bias. Let's also factor in our dealers and intermediaries, which are our parties that are commercially involved with trading this underlying good. So they rely on this underlying good. And in this case, they are counter trend traders. So they want to buy this underlying good when they see it as particularly cheap at the moment, and they want to sell it when they see it as expensive. And what we can immediately see in this case is that they're very active when it comes to buying this underlying good. So they really believe this the Swiss francs are currently quite cheap. And on the other side, they are, well, this is a bit confusing, because it says that zero short traders hold 9,000 open short contracts. This is simply not a correct information that we get from the COT report in this case, but we still know that the dealers and intermediaries are more engaged on the long side, and this is also again confirmed by our OBOS indicator, which also gives us a 86% intensity signal. Next up, let's quickly have a look at the open interest, which has been steady for quite some time now. Just recently, we got quite a surge in open interest, which was followed shortly after with a steep decline again. But we're still in average or slightly above average territory when it comes to the open interest. So we can expect smooth entries and exits when we trade the Swiss francs. And last up, we have our seasonals, where we can see that the Swiss francs are still in a long season until the 4th of April. So that not that much longer, unfortunately, but maybe we have luck on our side and get a long signal in the near future also from the chart, which in that case we would have the long season still on our side. So concluding from everything we saw is that we can definitely say right now that the market is fundamentally interesting for a long trade from the COT side. And we also have the season still currently on our side, but we maybe have to wait a little longer until the chart is giving us the confirmation that we now want to enter a long trade. So with that being said, we are already approaching the end of this video. As always, if you have any questions, recommendations, or other things you want to tell us, please feel free to drop us a comment and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. With that being said, I thank you very much for watching and see you again next time.